It's a dark, rainy night in the west of Ireland, and you're sitting there happily curled up by the fire watching a horror movie film you haven't seen before, when all of a sudden your owl lad walks into the room and says,
"Hey, what the hell are you watching?"
You play dumb as he watches along with you, only for this moment to happen.
You stupid bitch, you filthy slut!
Oh no, not fucking Chucky. I hate that fucking bollocks.
And he legs it out of the room like a scared child. And that's how you learn of the one and only horror film that truly scares your dad, a movie film called Child's Play.
There's nothing nice about murder. And there's nothing innocent about child's play.
Child's Play is a 1988 horror movie film directed by Tom Holland, who also gave us the brilliant Fright Night. It was the introduction of horror icon Chucky, voiced by Brad Dourif, who would go on to kill in multiple sequels. Our movie film begins with Detective Mike Norris having a shootout with local serial killer Charles Lee Ray, who ends up getting left all alone when his accomplice Eddie gets the fuck out of there.
Eddie, don't leave me, God no!
With no other options left, Ray breaks into a toy shop, only to realise he's about to become #dusht.
Oh God, I'm dying. You hear that, you son of a bitch? I'm gonna get you for it! I'm gonna get you! And I'm gonna get Eddie! No matter what!
But after delivering that threat, poor old Charlie falls over and wrecks the place. But then he gets a bit of an idea when he sees this good lad toy. It turns out Charles knows feckin' voodoo, so he says a bunch of nonsense and ends up getting the power of Thor, which causes the toy shop to fucking explode. Oh yeah, would you look at that? The whole place fucking blows up, but Norris's sound?
God, how do they walk away in movies without flinching when it explodes behind them? There's no way! I call bullshit on that!
But poor old Charles is #dusht, or is he? It's the next day, and we meet Andy, who seems to have the same diet I do.
That's our good guy show for today.
It's his birthday, and he can't feckin' wait to open his gifts. So he rushes in to wake his mother Karen up. Wait a minute, I know her from somewhere. Ah, it's the frickin' mother from 7th Heaven! I fucking hated that show! Anyway, it turns out that Andy's mother really is a Karen when she puts feckin' clothes into the biggest box. God, what a gut punch that would be on your birthday. It turns out Andy really wanted a good guy doll for his birthday, but sadly Karen wasn't able to get him one. But 'tis her lucky day, as later on her friend Maggie lets her know that there is a bum who will do a backdoor shady deal with her and sell her a good guy doll he found. So while at home that evening, Karen gives Andy his new buddy, and Andy can't feckin' wait to play with it.
Hi, I'm Chucky, and I'm your friend to the end. Heidi-ho.
Wow, he's something, isn't he?
He's fucking creepy is what he is. But Karen has to work that night, so Maggie comes around to horsh some cake into herself and mind Andy. The news talks about Charles' death from the last night, which grabs Chucky's attention.
Aunt Maggie, Chucky wants to watch the 9 o'clock news.
Oh, there'll be no spot of news for Chucky, as Maggie puts the two of them to bed. But moments later, Chucky the little bastard has somehow managed to plant himself right in front of the TV again. Maggie is pissed off again and puts Chucky right back to bed with Andy. But it turns out she should have let him watch his stories, as she gets a feckin' hammer to the face. And goes right out the feckin' window. You should have let him watch the feckin' news, Maggie, then you wouldn't be #dusht. Karen comes home to this madness and rushes to find out what happened.
Where's Maggie?
She had an accident.
An accident? What kind of an accident?
She went right out the fucking window. It turns out Detective Norris is on the case, and his number one suspect is Andy, who clearly has the cold dead eyes of a killer. Karen tells him to feck off away with those notions, but begins to get worried when she finds Andy having a good old chinwag with Chucky, and she asks him what Chucky has been chatting about.
He said Aunt Maggie was a real bitch and got what she deserved.
Jesus Christ, Karen, you'd want to wash that kid's mouth out with soap and not just tell him he's fucking daft for thinking his doll is alive. But the next day, Andy and Chucky go for a bit of an adventure together on the choo-choo and end up at Charles Ray's old partner Eddie's house. Andy has to go drain the spuds, so Chucky does a legger into the house. While inside, the little fecker turns on the gas, and it turns out that Eddie is the stupidest criminal of all time, as he just opens a door and fires at nothing, only to blow himself the fuck up. Fucking boom! But due to this little explosion, Andy has fallen into another spot of bother with the cops. He tries to tell them that it was Chucky the whole time, but good old Chuck ain't no rat.
Come on, Chucky, say something. something. Tell me why you lied to me about everything. Come on, Chucky, say something.
But social services think Andy is as mad as a bag of spiders and think it's best to take Andy away from Karen. But later that night, while back home alone, Karen goes to check the good lad box, only to find that the shaggin' batteries were never put into Chucky. Wanting this son of a bitch to reveal himself, she lights the fire and goes to throw him in it.
I said talk to me, damn it, or else I'm gonna throw you in the fire!
You stupid bitch, you filthy slut! Did you fuck with me?
Jesus Christ, he's kicking the shite out of her. Ah fuck, that lad definitely has rabies. Karen manages to get him off her, but Chucky does a legger and disappears. Karen rushes over to tell Norris all about Chucky, but he thinks she's a fucking fruitcake altogether and doesn't believe a word she says. But he soon believes her, as later that night while driving home, Chucky tries to strangle him. But being the badass that he is, Norris manages to burn the face off Chucky. And after flipping the feckin' car over, he still manages to shoot Chucky right in the chest. Chucky doesn't like that one bit at all, so he says fuck this and does a legger. The next day, Karen goes to scope out Charlie Ray's old apartment. Jesus, I don't know who has weirder taste in artwork, Chucky or Candyman. But it turns out Norris is here, and after almost being killed by a feckin' doll, he kinda believes all of her madness now. So they decide to team up to find Charles's old friend John. But sadly Chucky has gotten to John first, and it turns out old Johnny Boy here was the lad who taught Charles all about the voodoo.
The gree work?
And it turns out Chucky is really annoyed that he has an owie and he wants some answers.
You're turning human.
What?
The more time you spend in that body, the more human you become.
Chucky isn't happy about this one bit, and it turns out John wants to destroy Chucky. But unfortunately for John, Chucky has gotten hold of a feckin' voodoo doll. I'm sorry John, but there's something I need to tell you.
You're fucked.
To stop Chucky from snapping him like a twig, John tells him how to get out of the doll's body.
You have to transfer your soul out of the doll into that of the first human being you revealed your true self to.
I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. The first person I let in on my little secret was a 6-year-old kid. I'm gonna be 6 years old again.
Why would you be excited about that? Being 6 again would be fucking shite. You couldn't do anything. Anyway, Chucky stabs the crap out of the Goo Goo doll, mortally wounding Johnny Boy. And of course that's when Norris and Karen show up, but John tells them to get the fuck out of there and save Andy from Chucky. So it turns out Andy has been locked up in a hospital and has nowhere to go when Chucky comes for him. But he manages to trick him and escape him and hides out in an operating room, only to be cross-bodied by Chucky.
What a maneuver!
But this match goes to a no DQ when the doctor interferes and gets stabbed in the leg for his troubles and then gets his feckin' brain fried. Hashtag dusht. But killing that lad gives Andy a chance to escape and he legs it home, but he still ends up getting busted by Chucky. Karen and Norris arrive again just in the nick of time as Chucky is about to summon the power of Thor again to put himself in Andy's body. Jesus Christ, Karen, did you learn nothing the first time? Chucky is a feckin' biter. Chucky is rightfully pissed off now and manages to bush Norris, but he gets shot by Karen and then thrown into the feckin' fireplace, where Andy goes to light him on fire. And this being an 80s film, you best believe the kid has a one-liner.
We're friends to the end, remember?
This is the end, friend.
So Chucky gets fucking burnt to bits. But only to show up all crispy and attack them again. Jesus Christ, would someone fucking kill this lad? But Karen manages to shoot the shit out of Chucky, finally making him hashtag dusht, just as Norris's partner shows up.
Oh, hey.
But oh shit, he's not dushed at all and he's feckin' attacking again. Someone feckin' kill this lad, shoot him in the fucking heart. Come on, Norris. Fucking fair play to you. And that's Chucky, officially 100% hashtag dusht. I swear to fuck, if this lad gets up again, I'm gonna go fucking apeshit.
I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
After all that madness, everyone goes to get the feck out of that room and our movie film is dushed. Child's Play wasn't a series that I grew up on. Out of all the well-known horror series, this was the one that really seemed to pass me by. Chucky wasn't really a character that anybody I knew was into, and I don't really remember ever seeing his films on the rental shelves back home. So I only actually seen this film a few years ago, and while I did enjoy it, I wasn't blown away by the first entry into the Child's Play franchise. I think it's a fun horror film to watch, but it really isn't one that will scare you. Well, unless you are like my dad.
I hate Chucky. I hate that fucking bollocks.
It has good leading performances, particularly from Alex Vincent as Andy, who manages to avoid being another annoying kid in a horror film. For a little kid, he does a great job of carrying his scenes. Catherine Hicks and Chris Saranda also do a great job in the roles, but the film is stolen by Brad Dourif. It's no wonder that Chucky will go on to be a horror icon, as you can tell Dourif is having a great time playing him. And even for a first entry, Chucky still has that kind of fun vibe to him that actually makes you want to see more of him. And while 90% of the movie's effects are great, there are some that just look kind of cheap, or you can tell it's just another child or small person in a suit. Child's Play does have a lot of fun moments throughout it that grab your attention, and it has one of the most iconic horror moments ever when Chucky comes to life. But the film itself can be very slow going with nothing really happening. For the first half hour of the film, you're just kind of waiting for Chucky to come to life and for something really to kick off. And the scenes of Karen just wandering around the city while trying to find out more about Chucky are just kind of boring and there to pad out the runtime. And there really isn't any great kills in the film, besides Maggie going out the feckin' window, which is kinda daft. But that being said, the film is still enjoyable to watch, but not one that I could see myself going back to a ton of times. I do want to see more of this franchise, as I know some of the sequels are meant to be better than this first entry. And I will say, while I enjoy the 2019 remake of the film, the original 1988 film has much more of a charm to it and a much better Chucky. I think Child's Play would actually work as a great film to introduce someone to horror, as there isn't really any gore or truly scary moments in the film. But it is one that you can sit back and have a laugh with as you watch a doll going around shouting abuse and killing people. I give Child's Play 6 out of 10 Horshes.